Good morning. So this is going to be the start of me documenting my training on the build up to the obstacle course racing world championships towards the end of the year. So they're in October, so we've got 18 weeks to train, 18 weeks to improve, so plenty of time to get peaking for that goal race at the end of the year. So yeah, follow along. Starting with this week, it is Monday the 10th of June. So today I am going to make my way to the bouldering wall and do some climbing. Something I'm going to look to do once a week on the build up to the obstacle course racing world champs. Reason being is climbing is a really good skill to get proficient at. When it comes to obstacle course racing, a lot of obstacle course races ask a lot of your grip. So the bouldering sessions are good at building grip strength, grip endurance, which is particularly important for the obstacle course racing world champs. They're it's quite a grip intensive course, and particularly if it's going to be wet. It's in October, so chances are it's going to ask a lot of my grip strength. Okay, that's that climbing session done. Great fun. Really enjoying myself in there. Got to enjoy the process, guys. Obviously, it's not all going to be fun training, but the majority of it's got to be. Otherwise, what's the point, really? Yeah, had a great time. Climbed okay. Let's break it down for you a little bit more once I get to the car. Yeah, I did what I said I was going to do. Really, just climbed quite an intensive hour of climbing. Not a lot of rest. Climbed okay. Feel like I'm getting a bit smoother. I know some of you will probably tell me otherwise when you watch the video, but yeah, no, good times. One takeaway for me, and something I've been aware of for some time, is my left shoulder. So I tend to bunch my shoulder up like this. Basically my upper traps, so this muscle here, is overworking on my left hand side. It's quite a common thing. If you get a lot of knots in your upper back, you might be doing the same. You know, when you're sitting down, your upper traps take over. and all your postural muscles a little bit lower down, so your lower traps and your rhomboids, deeper muscles on your upper back sort of aren't working hard enough, so aren't pulling you into this position, a healthier position for your shoulder. So yeah, I've got to be really aware of that and keep working on that. I've had a bit of a back injury for much of this year, and I think this is contributing to it, so I need to continue hammering that and making sure that my upper trap is not taking over from my lower trap and my rhomboids. So yeah, one little takeaway from that session. But yeah, for the rest of the day, got some work to do on the computer. I'm going to go and buy some food, and in terms of exercise, I think the rest of the day is just going to be some mobility work at home. Yeah, that's about it. All right, on to the next. So it's the next morning. I did what I said I'd do last night, just did a little bit of mobility work, otherwise took it fairly easy. I'm out and about this morning. I'm going to do a 4 to 5k easy run into some hill reps. So I'm going to do 5 repetitions up and down a hill, which is about 300 meters in length, just to get my legs used to climbing hills, become a bit more efficient climbing hills, get my heart rate spiking. Should be good. So yeah, let's get going. Let's get it done. There is the hill. So it goes up through the trees a little bit there. Probably doesn't look like much of a hill on the camera, but it is. So yeah, I'm going to do 5 reps, sort of resting on the way down, sort of fast walk, maybe slow jog on the way down. And, yeah, I don't know how it's going to go. My legs felt a little bit empty on the way up here, but we'll give it a go. That's 4 done. I'm going to pick you up now though, because we've got some army troops coming behind me. So yeah, take my stuff and I'll see you at the top of my 5th and final rep. 5 done, 5 reps of that hill done. Legs struggling, to be honest with you. Didn't seem to have it in me in the last 20 meters of each rep. So kind of power hike the last 20 meters, but it's all good. Yeah, where I train is also like an army training area. That particular hill, barely ever see any civilians on it, but see the odd group of soldiers turn up. Yeah. Right, I'm going to head home. And yeah, good start to the day. Just something I want to add. When it comes to running, in fact any exercise that you start doing, your improvement is not going to be linear. So you're not going to get better every session you do. Take that session for example. Last week did the same session and I felt so much better. Pretty sure I ran each rep quicker. However, I'm not disappointed that today I felt worse. So over time, that effort is going to add up, and instead of a linear progression, there will be some peaks and troughs, but my improvement is going to be taking place. So just remember that if you're starting exercise, if you're starting running, don't expect to go out every time and run quicker. That's something I see and hear from beginners, so they get disappointed and disheartened when they're not improving with their times. But consistent effort over time and you will see improvement. So yesterday I had quite a tough day at work, quite a long day, ended up late off work. So yeah, I left the house at 5:30, didn't get back till 8:30. So I didn't end up getting anything done exercise wise. Just ate lots of food, got an early bed. So feeling nice and refreshed today. So I'm going to get outside and do a semi sort of long run. So there's a 10 mile, just over 10 miles, 17k loop that I quite enjoy doing. I don't know what happened there. Back to my teenage years. And yeah, I'm going to go out and get that done. It's terrible weather here at the moment. It's just been raining constantly. I think it rained all night. It's still raining now, so it's going to be pretty muddy out there, but yeah, also a little bit of rain, hey? There we are, we're out on the long run and about 3k in. Just wanted to stop, or as I march up this hill, just to explain sort of my running at the moment. So running is a very important aspect of horse racing. And it's just something I like to do anyway to keep fit. So early in the year, kind of from the end of January all the way up until May, I was sort of plagued with a lower back injury, which I was really struggling to shake off. There was a period there where I had I think it was 5 weeks off in total, where I didn't do any running, and then the running that I did do was all just done by feel. You know, if I'd wake up and my back was struggling, I wouldn't go out, and a lot of easy runs, very few sort of quality sessions. But I seem to be at a good point now where I've sort of shaken that injury off. Still have to be a bit careful with it, still having to do lots of mobility work, strength work. I think I've identified what was causing it. So my training anyway is quite fluid, so because of the nature of my work, like yesterday, you know, where you have long days where you just won't be able to get any training in, I have to be quite flexible with when I do my runs. I know what I want to try and get in a week. Sometimes I adjust the days that I do those training sessions. There's a number of quality sessions that I want to get in. I want to get in at least 2 quality sessions a week. So the quality sessions basically are made up of either like a hill rep session, like I did a couple of days ago, intervals. So intervals are, you know, I might go and do something like 5 times 1,000 meters with a 2-minute break in between each rep, and also tempo runs, or like a threshold run, which is anything really from, I do anything from like 5k to maybe 15k, so sort of up to an hour of getting that heart rate on that threshold line where I'm about to tip into sort of the anaerobic, from the aerobic zone into the anaerobic zone. I'll explain more of that later, but another time. But yeah, and also want to try and get in a long run every week. So this is my long run this week. Still fairly short in distance really, just over 10 miles as I said earlier. Over the weeks I'm going to build that up, like I'm going to try and I'm just gradually building my weekly mileage up at the moment. But anyway, I'm going to get back to it. I'm done. So yeah, 17k as I said. Took it really nice and easy, just keeping the heart rate nice and low. It's just the goal just being to spend a good amount of time on my feet. So on my runs sometimes I like to listen to podcasts and audiobooks. I listened to an interesting one today. So it was a Rich Roll podcast. His guest was a guy called Cal Newport, who's a professor and author, and he's just written a book called Digital Minimalism. And so yeah, he's just talking about basically how we're all kind of addicted to our smartphones and social media, and how kind of dialing back on our use of social media and our smartphones is really beneficial. Nowadays we don't really spend, or we can avoid spending any time in solitude, so we just fill those voids with constant scrolling of Instagram or Facebook. And I'm certainly not perfect when it comes to that. I'm guilty of that myself at times. I think we're all aware that we spend too much time on our phones, and sometimes you just need to just have that time where you're just with your own thoughts. I mean, running is a great way of doing that, and I know it's quite ironic I'm talking about this having just spent most of my run listening to something, but I made sure to pop my earphones out for the last few kilometres and just spend my time thinking. It's just good for your mind, your mental state, without those times in your day where you can just relax and chill without consuming some sort of media. Then we just gradually build up sort of a low level of anxiety if you're not careful. And I think a lot of people in this day and age are sort of walking around with a low level of anxiety. So yeah, just if you feel that's you, maybe just see if you can implement some times where you are just spending it with your own thoughts. Right. I'm going to go home and I'm going to get dry. So it's just coming up to 8:30 on Friday evening, and I've only just finished work. I was supposed to finish a couple of hours ago. The plan was to go to the gym straight after, do some weights. Gonna have to readjust that plan now because I am very tired and very hungry. Haven't eaten a meal since midday. It's just the nature of the job, unfortunately. Last job took us to a major trauma hospital in central London, so can't be helped. But yeah, I'm gonna get home. Might end up doing a bit of yoga in front of the TV, but otherwise I'm just gonna eat lots of food. Back home now. I've got a sports documentary on the TV. It's called Doc and Daryl. It's a 30 for 30 documentary, and I've got my foam roller and my lacrosse ball. I'm just gonna do some stretching. It's the weekend and I've got some training ahead of me. So I've got my Saucony Convaras on, which means one thing: I'm not going to be heading out on the trails. I'm sticking to the pavements today, so I'm going to do a 1 hour tempo run, or I haven't decided actually, maybe 45 minutes to an hour tempo run at half marathon pace. Just around a little loop that I know, so I'm just warming up, making my way there now. I'm not sure how much, if I'll get any footage actually of the actual run, but I'll catch up with you guys afterwards. Alright. So that's that done, an hour at threshold pace. It's a little bit slower to be honest than I wanted, but I just got to accept, I think that's where I am at the moment with my fitness. What I am pleased about is I wanted to give up after half an hour, I'll be honest with you. But just knuckled down, carried on. Calloused the mind, as David Goggins would say. So yeah, suffered a bit, but they're the sessions where I will benefit from in the long run. So yeah, pleased that's done and out of the way. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to rest. I just got back from my tempo run and I'm pretty tired, so I need a quick drink and a quick snack because I'm heading straight back out just to do a little bit more work. I'm going to just carry a heavy bucket around for a bit, maybe 3 times 400 meters with a couple of minutes rest in between. During obstacle course races, Spartan races in particular, there is an obstacle where you have to carry a heavy bucket. and you're always fatigued when you get to the bucket, so I'm just simulating that by doing it today. Just a little bit of extra work, good work for my grip, and so forth. So yeah, roll the clip. It's Sunday and I have made it to the gym today. I'm going to do the session that I was meant to do on Friday, but because of work didn't make it here. So yeah, just going to get in there, do nothing too crazy. I'm just going to lift a few weights, not focus on any particular body part, but just try and work most of the body. And yeah, just to keep a nice base level of strength up. Great for preventing injury and just good for performance during obstacle course races, and just good for general health, lifting some weights every now and again. So yeah, I'm going to get in there and get some work done. Sunday afternoon now, and I'm going to play spot tennis with my wife. And that's going to be it for this week's exercise. Hope you enjoyed following along. If you're interested to follow my journey going forward, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, catch you next week.